Hi, everyone. My name is Marissa, and we're going to be doing Kami training today. This is an advanced training class, so even if you have not used Kami before, hopefully you do get something out of it because it's pretty simple once you start. But I will try to go slow because there's a lot to unpack with Kami. The first thing is where to access Kami. So I'm going to be sharing different screens. So just give me a moment. All right, it is an extension. So when you are on your Google Chrome and you are logged in to your midlandisd.net, you're going to go to that little puzzle piece where the little arrow is clicking, and that's where you click to find Kami. So a little drop-down box is going to come up, and you have to scroll until you see the KAMI. Right next to all of these little extensions, there's a little push pin, and if you click the push pin, then it'll save your icons to the top. Okay, and if you don't want the push pins turned on and you don't want to see all of these, then you can just turn it off, but you will have to click the extension piece to get to Kami every time. So it's best if you just go ahead and push the little blue pin so that it's always going to be up here at the top. And when you need to get to Kami, you just press that little K. Okay. Does anybody have questions about where to get Kami? I was at a training and some teachers didn't have it in their puzzle piece. If that's you, you will have to click on Manage Extensions, and then it'll take you to the Chrome Web Store, and then you'll just type in Kami and you'll add it to um, your Chrome, and then it'll be in your puzzle piece. But you do have to be using Google Chrome, not Edge, and you do have to be signed in. Okay, we do have a paid feature of Kami, so it'll be all the upgrades and things that if you didn't have the paid feature, you're able to use. Okay. All right. So I'm going to walk you through the different features in Kami. So like I'm going to go ahead and go to that little K, and then it takes me to my Kami page. And when you first look at Kami, you might be thinking, I don't have any of these items like you do. That's because I have already opened up these items. So it'll be like my recents, and it'll also have this long list that you may not have if you haven't opened Kami, but everybody should have this part and this part as well, and then this part too. If you don't have these, that's okay. Once you start playing with it, you will have access to have your items there. Okay, what I'm going to first do is I'm going to go to this Kami library because that's the easiest way to show you all of the features. So I click on that. And I'm going to go to a reading passage. And I will show you a little bit about math and science because Kami works for all subjects. And if you're a PE teacher or athletics, you can also use Kami because there's little spaces for kids to record themselves doing an exercise or something or typing about it. So it can be used for all subjects. All right, so this is a passage from Kami. You would use one from your curriculum or whatever you're using, and I'll show you how to download a star passage and kind of split it. That way you're using something that you're going to use more often. But this is just an example. So on the left, you'll see all of these features. Okay, and you're thinking, why do I even need a signature? What is that for? It doesn't make sense. But I had a teacher come on here and give me a really good example of how she uses a signature with her students. So she has them sign that they've done all their strategies before they turn it in. So that's a pretty cool one. I don't remember who that was, but if you're on here, that I will always keep that in mind. Okay, and this select tool is really important to always go back to it because if you are stuck on, like if you have clicked comment, then anywhere you click on the screen, you're going to be leaving comments. So it's really important to remember to always come back to the select tool so that you can scroll and choose other options. So I'm going to start there in the select. All right, this little understand button is really cool because this text right here, even if it seems pretty simple, you might have some struggling students. So if I click on understand, I can use the dictionary. So I would click on a word, and then it tells me, it gives me a little dictionary of what that word is, so like a little definition. If you want a picture dictionary, then it'll give you pictures of what that item is. So in case you didn't know what something was, you could click on it and either get just the definition or a picture. This translate button is also pretty neat. So you can click on here and then you can have it translate. I believe there's 150 different languages that you can translate. And if you're already thinking, I do not want my students to translate because they're going to be taking the test in a certain language, you can remove that and I'll show you how. But just for practicing purposes and understanding the text, it's a good thing to have. All right, this little explain one is super cool because let's say you read this entire thing and you're like, can you explain what I just read? So here, if you click the explain button, uh, it'll explain to you what the text is about. And maybe you want to explain it to me because I'm on this live now. Summarize the text. Okay, it'll give you a little summary of what this paragraph was about. Okay, and I still have it on Spanish, so you can put it back on English. Okay, and I'm going to also try to go back to this explain one just to show you. Okay, so here's the explain. It kind of just tells me what this is about, and you can also have it read aloud to you. So this is what students will use, but you as a teacher can control or add additional things before you assign it. Let's see. And then this read level one, if you took this entire passage and you wanted to re-level this passage for your students at a higher level, you could choose between a level 1 all the way to level 12. And then you could still have the same students reading about the same topic, the life of a tree, but at different levels. So I really like that re-leveling option. Okay, the adjust, let's see. Okay, make it easier or harder. And also has this little cool tool. Let's see if I can get to it. This screen masking where if you just want to read certain parts, that's pretty cool too. I didn't show that in the last training. And then this little exit down here, because if you're like, how do I take that off? Like me, you can click exit there. Okay, so those are the features in the understand. These are all in beta, so if they're not correct, that's why it does say beta, because it may be a little off, but for the most part, they work really well. Okay, if you want your students to have a read aloud, they can change the voice and the speed. You would just have this feature on, and they will be able to have this read to them. Okay, now most reading teachers and Kami is used for marking up and showing their strategies on a passage, so that way they practice for their STAR test or something. So they do have this markup option. The box highlighter is really cool. You just maybe want to box highlight all of this, and it highlights it for you very quickly. Okay. Or if you just want just a text highlighter, then you would just highlight that text. The free one kind of lets you do squiggles or something like a little different, but I do like just the text highlighter and the box highlighter. And then of course you can strike through items that are not important, underline things and so forth with the markup. This comment one is super important. If you're a teacher and you want to give directions before you assign this, you can leave a little text comment, and whatever you click on, it's already set to give a text comment, but you have to click somewhere on your document. So let's say I want to leave a text comment here. You put your cursor here, and then you can write a text here and say, read twice. Maybe you want them to read twice. So read the whole thing twice. And these little dots can be moved around. You might want to put it there. You might want to put it in red, but they'll be able to see that, and then they'll see your text. And even if you want to add a little text comment somewhere else, okay, that's where that comment will be. So it's not going to necessarily be at the very top where you first made it. You can always move it around. And you can leave little text comments, reminders, especially like for question 4. Don't like a little tip, look in paragraph 2 or something like that. Okay. If you want to leave a voice comment, This can be anything you want to say, and you can save your little voice comments. So maybe you want to tell your students, uh, please read the text twice before answering the questions. You could click on this little voice comment, but you still have to click somewhere on the screen for it to start recording. So I'm going to click here. Please read the text twice before starting your questions. Okay, and now when the kids see this little dot, they'll know. Please read the text twice. I don't like to hear my voice, but and then if you want, you can, while the kids are working on this, if you have a student that needs a reminder, you can just leave a little voice comment on their paper, and then you can delete it immediately after they listen to it. So it's just kind of something you can do on the go. Video comments, I really like the video comments because if you're going to be out or absent and you have a sub and you want your students to read this and answer the questions, then you can be on this video comment and you can just click somewhere on the screen and it starts to record you and you can say, hi students, I'm out today, but please read this twice and answer your questions. And then it leaves that little video comment for your students. So that's kind of cute because they're going to miss you and then they'll like to see you. And then if you want to save any of these comments that you've been making, just press this little annotation bank and then it saves it. And you can save this as a reminder to read, or you could put it as an absent message. Okay, something to remind you what it was, and then it saves it to a little bank, which is going to be here. Okay, so whenever you want to use that in the future, you don't have to record yourself again. So you can leave a really nice video of yourself talking and telling your students you're out and leave it pre-recorded and saved in your little bank. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. All right, text box. You can leave messages using the text box, and your students can also use the text box to answer questions, or some teachers have them write little evidence next to the paragraph, so you can have them use the text box to write down like a little summary of each paragraph. Now, equation, you're thinking, this is a reading passage, I don't need the equation toolbar. So this is a good example of why you can take this off and you don't need to leave this for students if they're reading and they don't need this equation. I'll show you how to take that off. Okay, drawing, if here's some other math things, you might want to remove that. Shapes, you might have them for math using shapes, possibly not for this reading. And then this little question one is really cool. Now notice this is a passage and it has questions that are written in text. If you're reading this digitally and your students have all answered this, as a teacher, I don't want to read every single paper like their little scribbles or text. But if I could have them type their answer, especially multiple choice questions, I would highly suggest that you use this little question option here, because what it'll do is it'll convert these questions and type them for you on the side. So I'm going to click Convert AI. And what it's going to do is take these questions and type them out for me. That way you don't have to copy and paste them. Okay. And I'm just going to use page 2 because page 1 doesn't have questions. And then the little Cami is going to show you how long it takes. So as soon as this is full, he'll have the questions typed out for me. Sometimes it takes a while, but the more questions you have, but if it's like multiple choice questions, it'll already have the answers for you. And so that helps. You just have to double check that they're correct. So now it converted these questions for me. And what it did is it made them kind of like a fill in the blank. You can change this. So like, can trees live for 100 years? It already answered that for me right here. So I didn't even put yes. The kids don't see these answers. All they see is the question. Okay, so if you want to see what the kids see, all you have to do is in this editing mode, just these little binoculars. You would click the binoculars to preview what the students are seeing. Okay, so here's what the kids would see. They would see their reading passage, and then they would see their questions and fill in the blanks. Okay, So that way you don't have to type all those questions out. Cami did it for you. And then you would just exit to go back to continue editing. Okay, now cool thing about if you have a reading passage, you can do this convert questions, and you can generate some AI questions for this text. Now I know there are better AI generators for questions like Magic School AI, or if you use a different source and you upload a text and have it create questions based on a TEK. Cami is not there yet as far as generating questions for you. It'll just generate ones without your input. So I'm going to click Generate AI, and I want the questions to be from page 1 because I want it to generate questions based on this one. You can choose multiple choice or short answer, and then however many questions. And now it's going to read the text and create questions for me. If you would like to create your own questions and like with this particular TEK in mind, then you can do that like in another format and then just create the questions from scratch here. That way you have better questions than what Cami can come up with, but they do come up with some good ones. So you can look over these, and if you like the questions, keep them. If you want to edit them, you can change them. But this is what Cami came up with, and notice I don't have any option to put in a TEK. So that's just an FYI. It may not be great questions, but they still at least have something on the go just for check for understanding. Okay, and then eraser, kids will need an eraser to erase things. The kids will not get this question button. Okay, that's just for the teacher. Okay, let's say you have an anchor chart and you want to add maybe like the anchor chart that has the strategies for reading. You can upload it from your computer. You can take a picture of your phone and take a picture of the anchor chart. And so you can leave an image here for your students. And let's say you want to add another page. So at the very bottom, this is a little plus sign. Okay, you can add another page and there's different options. I'm going to leave it blank. And you can even add different graphic organizers so your students can do additional work with this passage. So you would add media, maybe a graphic organizer, and you can leave something here and label it so that they could fill that out as well. Okay, now I'm ready to assign this to my students. I have some questions, and I'm going to go ahead and use my little annotation. So I saved it. Just going to drop it here, change the color. Okay, and now I'm ready to assign this. So I left my kids a little video of me saying to read it. I left them some questions to answer. Here they could fill in with the text box, and I left them a graphic organizer. Now, that's part of Cami. You start and you prepare it for your students, and then you assign it. This is where you're going to assign this little piece of paper. It's called File, and you click Create an Assignment. And it takes it straight to your Google Classroom. So you see it's already making a copy for every kid in your class. And here's the assignment. And you just give it a title. Okay, and then you select however many classes you want to assign this to. So if you have multiple classes, I'm going to put it in my Cami class. I do have a topic called Cami, so I'm going to put it there. And then if you want to take off those features like the equation bar, here's where you do it. So you have to click on this feature control. If you do it once, you won't have to do it again. But here you have your select tools. Oh, and I think this is new because before some teachers were asking, I think this literally probably just happened today, if you could do it for individual students, like take off the read aloud, or take off like a feature for some, like the translate but not others. So this is actually new. This looked different yesterday. So for my whole class, I want them to have the understand tools, but I don't want them to have the equation. I don't want them to have the shapes tool. I do want them to actually sign their assignment at the end. So I'm going to turn these on. And then if you don't want them copying and pasting from another tab, then you can take this off. Okay, if you don't want the students adding a page like I did, then leave this off. But if you do want them to add, especially for math some additional pages for scratch paper, you can turn this on. And I'm just going to click confirm. And now these feature controls are saved. So all the students in my class are going to have everything. And I'm going to click assign. Okay, and it goes into my Google Classroom, into my classwork. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on the student side. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing and show you all my windows. Okay, so here I have the teacher view. And over here, I'm going to pull up my student, which is a Chrome test student. And hopefully you can see this. Okay, so this little student is called a Chrome test. And this is just what your students would do. And I'm going to start this from the beginning so that you know where I'm at. So if I'm the teacher, I would go to my Google Classroom. And my assignment is already there. Okay, it's going to be here under Kami. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's my reading passage. And now the student would click on your classroom. They would click on classwork, and then they have your assignment, which is the reading passage. They have this open with Kami button. That's the one that you want the students to pick. So you click on open with Kami, and then they get their assignment, which is the reading passage, which is 3 pages long, and it had some questions. Okay, and here's the questions that the kids see, and here's their assignment. Notice they don't have the equation bar because I took that off. Now, on the teacher side, I want to open this up while the kids are working on it, and I'm also going to open with Kami. So please click open with Kami on the teacher end, because you'll be able to see all of your students working in real time. So if you have 30 students in your class, the class view is going to open all 30 assignments. And it's kind of like GoGuardian, but it's a little different because here's my Chrome test student, for example. And if I were the student and I'm marking up my assignment, okay, and immediately the teacher sees that the Chrome test student, he's underlining things. Let's see, if I use my drawing tool, and I guess I was wrong that the kids do get the question button. So I probably would take that off. I don't know. I didn't know that they could get that, but I guess they do. Here's let's see, if I were the student and I'm answering questions, so I would go ahead and answer these questions. They're set to 1 point, so on the teacher side, you would have to change the point values. Or if there's 4 questions and they get 4 points, you just have to know that's 100, but that's one thing to keep in mind. So as a teacher, I'm seeing in real time that my student is underlining and using their strategies. And on my end, I can click media and I can give them a sticker. So this student is doing really good, and I can drop a sticker on his sheet, and then he gets the sticker immediately. And so if you drop a sticker on this student's paper, it only goes to that student and they get it immediately. And then you could keep scrolling to see what your other students are doing. If you want to leave a message for this student, okay, and you want to tell them, great job or something like that, then the student gets this little circle, this little tiny, and see how I'm in drawing? You always have to tell your students, go back to select. The students get this little thing, this little button, and then they get your great job message. Okay, so you can leave comments to your students in real time. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to break apart a passage in Kami. Let me go ahead and close these out. Okay, so here is a reading passage, okay? And you think, well, I don't need to give my students this whole star passage. I just want one story from this whole entire thing. You can go ahead and open with Kami here, or you can download it. Okay, for this reason I'm just going to download it because sometimes you find a worksheet and you download it. You're on iReady or iExcel or anything, and you're like, I want to send this digitally. So I'm going to download this and save it. And now I want to go to Kami, and this split and merge button right here is the one that's going to allow you to just pull the worksheet that you need. So I'm going to click split and merge. Now it's asking you what file do you want to split apart. It's saved on my computer, and it's this RLA. Okay, and you can add more things. So let's say you have 5 different worksheets, one saved in your drive, one's on your computer, one's in the Kami library. You can keep adding as many documents as you want, but I just want to break apart this one. Okay, and I really only want pages 11 through 16. So I'm going to grab, you can do all of these and then just drag them down. So this is the passage I want. I want this story with these sets of questions and probably not this one because it starts the next story. And you know, I deleted it, but it doesn't delete it from your computer. So I still have it perfectly fine on my computer. Even though I'm taking these pages out, it's not going to mess up your original document. Now here I'm going to give it a name. Okay, and I'm going to click this export button. And I want to open it in Kami so I can add those extra features that I was doing for my first assignment. And guys, if this is too fast, I can do like a reteach with you at your campus. Just email iTech Help, and you're like, how did you do that? And I can come help you. All right, but here's my story. So all I pulled was a few pages. That was called a split and merge on the home screen. Okay, and I'll have my questions here. And now, once again, if I send this to my students, they'll have to do this little freehand. And you know, kids are like, well, what did you pick? I don't see what you picked. Okay, I don't want to see all of that mess, but I do want to see what they really picked. So who can tell me what I would do so that I can see what my students chose? What's a good idea for turning these questions into editable, clickable questions? You can put it in the comment or you can unmute. I know somebody wants to unmute to tell me, how would I turn these questions into clickable options for my students? Because I don't want to have to go through all of their pages and like look to see what they circled. All right, I'll give you the answer just today. I'll give you the answer. So you're
Wait. Don't you click question and then convert, and then it'll convert the questions with the answer key as well?
Yay, thank you,
Okay.
Kelsey.
You're welcome.
Here we give her some claps at your at your desk. Yes, I'm going to click question here, and I'm going to convert the document, but I don't want to convert the whole thing because there's no questions up here. So I want to convert the last 2 pages. So 4 to 5, and I click convert. When this pops up, it's because Kami always wants to save everything to your Google Drive. So just click Google Drive. And it makes a folder for you in your drive called Kami Upload. So anything you make is going to be saved in your drive. If you ever think, where did that go? It goes to your drive, and it even has a name so that you know what it's called in your drive. Okay. So it's converting the questions. Now, not always does it give me the right answer. Sometimes I've seen for math, it doesn't put like the correct answer. You have to fix that. But for the most part, it does a good job. So double check these with the star answer key. But it went ahead and gave me the questions. So if you compare, what is the central idea of the selection? Here it is. And I didn't have to type all that. So I'm happy because now my students, when they see this, I'm going to click on the student preview. They'll be able to still show their work, mark up the text, but then they can actually click the correct answer, so I don't have to like go through everybody's paper. And then it grades it for you. So you already know who clicked what because the answer key is already done for you. And it kind of tricks you to think that it gave them the answer, but on their side, they don't see the answer. Okay. So if you want to add anything to this before you send it to your students, you could add any of these features before you send it. So maybe I want to send them that little message about reading it twice. I just drag this, and I don't like the green, so I'm just going to change the color. Okay, and if you wanted to leave another message for them on question 9 and say, highlight in the text in orange where you found the answer. So you could leave them a comment. Okay. Okay, that way you know that when they get to question 9, you can go and look to see, did they highlight in orange where they were supposed to get the correct answer or something like that. And your students could translate this in case they don't know what you're saying. Maybe they, what did she tell me to do in another language? And that way they can still understand the assignment, but get it translated for them. Okay. And then once again, you can add to your annotation bank. Now I want to talk about the annotation bank a little bit. What I don't like about the annotation bank is that you can't create them all right here. You can't just create a bunch of annotations. You have to actually make one first on a paper, and then you can save one. That's the only way to make save something to your bank. Yay, thank you, Erica. She is liking this. Okay, so now I have like this little option in my bank. So if I wanted to have a bunch of little annotations ready, I'm going to go to a blank page. Okay, and I'm going to create all of my annotations to start the year off. Probably, I highly recommend you do this now or tomorrow. So just pull up a blank page and go ahead and start leaving some comments. So if you were a teacher, what are some comments that you might say when a student's working hard? Say, wow. Okay, maybe you have a lot of exclamation marks. Okay, so now you have this little text, and when you click the 3 dots, you can add it to your annotation bank. Okay, so now it's going to live in here. So now let's say you want to leave something else. Maybe you want to leave a voice comment. Keep up the great work. Okay, and you want to save that. So once in a while, you want to send that to a student so they can hear your voice. You can add it to the annotation bank. Voices and videos require a little comment so that you remember what you said. Okay, and now I'm going to save that little voice comment. So now when my students are working, I can just grab this and move it to their page. Okay. If you want to redirect and say, please get on task or something, and then send it to them and then delete it right after they hear it so that they're not replaying it over and over, you can do that as well. So you can leave other messages here to redirect the students. Okay, now I do want to show you a little bit of math. This is recording me, I'm sorry, and delete that. Okay, because for math questions, I want to show you something really cool. So I'm going to go to Lead Forward. And as we all know, Lead Forward does not let us copy and paste their questions. Okay, I like to go to the right here at the top, resources, and the released item tools. Now I'm going to go to math. I should have gone to the grade level. And I didn't put a grade level. Okay, so I'm going to go to math, 4th grade. And I'm going to pull up some questions. Yay, I'm so glad you guys. There's so much to Kami that I don't think anybody was really knowing to do, just like sending worksheets out, but there's a lot you can do before you assign this. Okay, so as a teacher, I'm looking at these questions, and I want to use this on a test or a little practice, but I can't grab it. So these little scissors at the bottom, they're called snipping tools. If you don't have the little scissors at the bottom, you can type snipping tool here, and then you can get those little scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my little scissors, and it lets you take a little screenshot. Okay, so now I don't know if you see it on your screen, but I took a little snippet screenshot of that question because it doesn't let you copy it. Okay, so now I'm going to go here and I'm going to delete all of this. And I'm just going to pay and make sure you are on select, because if you don't go back to select, you're going to be leaving comments everywhere. And I'm just going to drop this question here. Okay, and now I want to turn this question into a clickable one. So my students will show their work here, underline, circle, and do what they need to, but I want to convert it. And it's only one question, but once again, I don't want to have to sift through everyone's paper to see if they picked F, G, H, or J, but I do want to see that they showed their work and underlined and circled and did all of the things. And it does take a little while, but here it is. So now when I assign this to the students, I can see exactly what they picked. How cool is that, right? So it works with math, not all math questions. So if I were to upload a difficult math question without, maybe it's like a short constructed math question where kids type the answer, it doesn't give you like a number answer. Sometimes it'll give you like a fill in the blank and words kids type the answer. So sometimes it doesn't work well with math, but it does when you have multiple choice. Okay, it does a good job. And then here, if you were to assign this to your students, who can tell me where I go to assign this to my students?
I believe it's share at the top.
What does it look like? No, not share.
Not share.
Well, if you want to assign this immediately to your Google Classroom, I would not go to share. Share lets you have like almost like everyone can be on it at the same time. But if you just want this as an assignment to your students, I would not use the share button. Anybody else remember? The little file paper. Don't forget the little piece of paper. So I'm going to go to this little piece of paper and I'm going to create an assignment. And there it is. Okay. I'm just going to say math word problem. Okay. I'm going to send it to my Kami class. And feature control, since this is not a reading passage, I don't really want them to use any of the understand tools. Okay. Or the predictive text, like when they're typing, it kind of shows what words they would use next. Maybe you don't want them to have read aloud because that's not an accommodation. Okay. And you don't want them signing anything. Okay. So now you click confirm. And so when you assign this, the students will get that assignment. And I should have put it in my little topic for Kami, but that's okay. Okay. When you're viewing this as a teacher, and you're seeing what your students are doing, you're going to click open with Kami. And as a student, I'm also going to click open with Kami. So make sure your students click open with Kami. And now I'm the teacher on this view and I'm looking at what they're doing. So as a student, I'm going to start marking up the text. Okay. And as you can see, the student is working and they're highlighting. Okay. And they're drawing their circles and they're showing their work. Okay. If you want to leave the students, let's say they're not doing a good job, where would you go to tell them or send them a little message? You could actually go 2 places. If you've already saved them, you go to your annotation bank and you just grab it. Leave them a little comment. So now they see what you said and they can move it out of the way. Okay. Or you can actually text them a comment or send them a video message or anything like that. Yeah. So that's a math problem. And then they would turn this in. Okay. So as a student, this is the student side. They would click the correct answer and then they would turn it in. So anything you assign to the kids, when they open with Kami, if you've assigned it in Google Classroom, and it gives them a little confetti, even if they probably got the answer wrong, they still get confetti. Okay, but that's on the student side. Now I do want to show you how to assign straight from Google Classroom, because remember this session has a lot going on. So if I go to Google Classroom and I want to assign something, I go to my class and I go to classwork and I can click create and I want to click a Kami assignment. Okay. And it opens up Kami for me. It lets me, if I already have something, remember, it automatically saves stuff in your drive. I can pull it from here. I can do a file or link, but I want to go to the Kami library. And if I were a science teacher, I would want to assign this label parts of a cell. Okay, and it's going to make a copy for everyone. And I want to put it, let's see. Okay, I want to show you, like, let's say on my feature control, I have everything on. Okay, and you accidentally forgot to take everything off. If you leave media on, the kids can go to YouTube and they're just doing on YouTube. They're not doing your work. So if you leave media on, be careful. And let's say you left everything on. Okay, and then you assigned it. Okay, I want to show you, like, even if the kids are working on it and you accidentally left all of that on, you can take off the features in real time. Okay, so if you're the teacher and you're opening the assignment, okay, remember you would click open with Kami. And you see that your kids have that media button and they're on YouTube. There's a little feature control buttons in the class view that lets you turn those off. Okay, and it's confusing because you're like, well, I don't see it all the time. It only works when you are in class view. So it's right here. The little lines right there. So keep in mind, these little buttons are important. So as a teacher, I would click here, go to my feature control. Well, my feature control is opening somewhere else. And then I would turn off the media, okay? It usually goes immediately to it, okay? And another cool button is this one right here, this little green button. Okay, this little green button right here. You can actually edit the assignment. So you might, you forgot to add something and all the kids are working on it, and you might just want them to put their name on the paper, okay? You can leave a little comment, and then it leaves all of your students, whatever change you made, and as soon as you click update all, every kid in the class gets that change. So now every single student has that little dot. Okay? Which is a cool feature because sometimes as a teacher, you forget to leave something, or maybe you put the answer key on there. You want to, everyone's on it. You go toggle it off, and then you take off the answer key, and then everybody's gets removed. Okay, so that's kind of what that looks like. All right, now, are there any questions? Because that was a lot. We covered a lot on this. I like this little science activity because as the teacher, okay, I already assigned this to my students. Now, this one doesn't have an answer key, right? So the kids would actually just move everything around. I think there was a question. Oh, yeah, you ready to practice with it? There's a cool way to add the answer key to this. Okay, so if I were the student, let me see if I can find my Chrome test student. Okay. While you're on here and you edit the assignment, um, if I were the teacher, I would add the answer key. After the kids have all worked on it, I would add the answer key at the bottom, and that way they can compare their answers and get like a real feedback of where they were supposed to put all of these. But that one's like kind of hard to do if you want. If you're like, hey, how do I add pages while they're already working on it? Let me know and I can help you because that part's a little tricky. But I don't know where my little feature control. See, while the kids are working on it, you can still edit the features, turn off the media, and immediately it deletes from everybody. So they can't have YouTube anymore. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys. This is a very long session. I hope you took away something from it. And thank you. You get some confetti as well. But if you need help, just email iTechHelp, and then one of us can get with you and help you use Cami in your classroom. Can even help you with your students if you want us to come in and do it with your class. Thank you so much, guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And I'll give you all credit, the hour credit, probably tomorrow morning. That way you can download your certificate. Yes, Adriana, that's a lot of information. Thank y'all so much. We'll
Thank
see y'all
you.
next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all so much. Gracias, Lorenza. And if anybody has questions and wants to stick around, you can. Thank you, Aniceto. We'll see you next time.